The hash browns are people.
It could be worse. Let's be honest. Right, so you're heading towards Cheyenne Hive. You've just escaped the bazaar that's just been bombarded to oblivion. You've got a very loud, boisterous bear of a man by the name of Martellus on board. He's the one who's claimed to be a seneschal for a rogue trader, which sounds like absolute horseshit. And now that you've met him, yeah, it's likely horseshit. But still, he seems connected. He seems very friendly. He's the one who warned you about the incoming attack. And you've also talked a bit with your contact with your new Inquisitor, Rashad. And I'm not going to repeat the advice he gave. It's up to you to remember. Not long after you managed to get away from the ambush, Martellus, he says, do you mind if we make a small detour, ladies and gentlemen? It's one of my own people, one that we all owe a little bit of gratitude towards. I need to pick up first.
How big of a detour?
Oh, it's not far. It's he marks it on the map, and it'll probably add an extra 20 minutes to your journey. A journey of, I think, if my brother was over a day to Shiny Hive.
Oh yeah, while we're traveling, Cecilia, can your character continue the last 3 hours needed to get these autocannons on the airship?
Yeah, done and done. So that's what my character will be up to.
Yep. Once you manage to untangle yourself from the blanket.
Yeah, the anesthetic is worn off. She's good.
So, anyone object to this detour?
20 minutes.
Who is this
basically
person
on the way,
exactly?
So this is one of my own well, I suppose agents. You'd call him. He is the one who warned me about that basilisk assault.
Is he going to be bringing anyone else with him? It's kind of a surprise that we've got one extra person. Is he going to bring extra people?
I don't know. He tends to be a bit antisocial, but we'll see.
I don't see why not. It's basically on the way. 20 minutes isn't much.
All
right. Worst case, we shoot him.
With what's been posted in the Discord, it's like, I think we now need to tease Pandora about her monster hands.
It's like the Truckosaurus back there.
All right. So, you're making the detour. Travel along, you come across at the point where Martellus showed on the map, and he is helping, so no need for a navigation roll. He's already guessed that he might need to step in a bit. It's effectively another smaller, much smaller oasis than the one you've just escaped from. It's a few trees and a tiny little pond. Sure enough, there's an individual there, which will be described in just a moment. His riding animal though is it looks like someone took an iguana and said, "Nah, fuck it, this is an amphibian now." It's basically a frog stretched out into an iguana style shape.
Iguana frog, yeah.
That's making me think of Obi-Wan Kenobi's mount in the third movie.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. No, stop it.
Did I just ruin it for you?
To be fair, I've come to like the prequels more with in hindsight. For one simple reason, the sequels.
I still think the prequels are bad.
They're not good. I'm not arguing otherwise, but we've seen how much worse Star Wars can get. And how do you slight tangent here, but how do you make a trilogy without planning ahead? It's like, you're making 3 movies, and you only plan for one at a time. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
You've seen J.J. Abrams work before, right?
I have, but it's like, like with Star Trek or something, they didn't think, they're going to have a trilogy, or outside of the biggest dickhead, at Paramount. With Star Wars, is like, yeah, we're making 3 movies. We're making 3 movies, so it's going to be it for the start. That's what we've always done with Star Wars. Then not fucking plan ahead. It's like genius. Change directors halfway through. What could possibly go wrong? All right, so tangent. All right. What beat this individual looking like?
Sorry, was that a question?
Yes.
All right. Well, the dude you're going to roll up on is wearing pretty much heavy, spiky scrap metal armor and has this rather large, also scrap metal cleaver that he's carrying around. Seems to be the weapon he favors. Yeah, pretty heavy armored dude. Looks like he could fuck some shit up.
Do we have tetanus shots on board?
Gosh.
We're also rolling up on a land ship that's like 3 or 4 stories tall with tank turrets on top.
Yeah. Think like the biggest wet dream of designers in the very early 1900s. Like the whole when the land ship idea was going to be the future. Imagine that, but actually given purpose because it's 40k and stupid things actually make some sense here.
It's basically that German's favorite dream, the rat.
Yeah, right.
I'd say the rat. Although there's ones more like the monster floating around out there, so you might want to avoid those.
It's not
a
monster, it's an opportunity.
Well, that thing.
Give us
like
a
the
bigger
monster,
ship to steal, I dare you. You remember
Well,
that time
yeah,
where we
yeah.
hijacked a nuclear submarine?
Yeah, I had to bring in a fucking dragon to rein you guys in. That's fucking ridiculous. There's a Shadowrun we're talking about.
We were sessions away from destroying a dragon with a dump truck.
Oh, fucking Shadowrun, man. All right. As the land ship comes to a stop, Martellus does look back at the group. Hello there, Billy.
Hey, Billy.
Yeah. Is he there? Sounds are there.
Hello.
Hello there. You haven't missed too much, thankfully. Basically, Martellus suggested that you guys make a small detour to pick up one of his agents, the one that warned him about the assault on the bazaar, and you're picking him up now. Basically, a big beefy dude covered in metal plating.
Don't mind the rust. Yeah, don't mind the rust and blood. He's actually pretty nice.
I kind of feel like by the 41st millennium, humans must be immune to tetanus. Because I mean, have you seen 40k? They would have lived past the age of 3 if tetanus was still a concern. Martellus looks back at the group as the land ship pulls up, and he says, "Well, of course, we're going to have to leave them out behind because don't exactly have the facilities for it on board." But
I mean, all right, hear me out here.
Does it eat slaves? Because we just picked up a big batch of those.
So we're going into the Underhive. I think having a large mountain like this could be an advantage if we need a distraction.
I am not going to clean giant lizard poop or reptile frog poop. I will, however, direct you to 14 slaves who would be willing to do that.
Yeah, we have more than enough slaves to take care of this poop problem here.
Doesn't sound like it'll be an issue then.
Right, so I'm going to make stats for this pass. All right, I'll do that in between the next sessions.
Do we have explosives on board that we can strap to it?
Apart from autocannon shells and mortar shells,
And
don't think you do.
grenades?
No, and grenades. But you wanting to set up an explosive collar or something, eh?
Wait, hold on. We do have, what is it?
Oh no, you're going to get out of Akbar.
We got 54 hours of fuel for the Jeep. I think we can spare some fuel if we want to make a suicide bomb in the Underhive.
Sorry, was this iguana frog mine or someone else's?
That was yours. My idea was going to be that you're going to be letting it loose again when you get on the land ship. But I'm guessing I should have seen it ahead. I'm guessing I'm being overruled on this.
Yeah,
All right,
Craig
lucky
Hag has a
guy.
problem with you using his mount as a fucking suicide bomber.
Look, the plan isn't for
I'm
you to
so-
be riding this, but I hope you weren't very partial to him.
Yeah, well, the plan wasn't for your head to be split in two either, but we'll see what happens there.
That looks like we've lost Pandora for a little bit. Systems restarting. Well, keep going for a little bit, and she should be back soon, hopefully.
Well, regardless, I'm in favor of bringing the mount on board. We can find room for it.
I'll put this in text so she can see as well. Any objections to bringing the mount on board?
I'm cool with it.
I'm on Team Iguana Frog.
I just think it opens up a lot of options for us. And because we may or may not have pissed off an Inquisitor, we need options.
Yeah.
You know, if I knew I was going to have this thing, I probably would have taken riding instead of vehicle fucking piloting.
Well, I don't think you're going to be riding it for very long.
Is riding a separate skill on this, or?
It's...
I don't know.
No, wait, it uses survival, I think.
Sounds like a ground vehicle to me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure riding steeds uses a survival or fieldcraft skill. For some reason, they chose that instead of operate or whatever.
Well, he's got pretty good survival, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
don't
you
think he
don't
wants to
travel
ride it
with-
if we're going Allahu Akbar on the underhive.
Well, no, but if we're
Hello?
not, I could totally fucking charge into battle with that since I'm mainly melee.
I dig it.
I suspect if anyone's going to have an objection, it's either going to be the Heretic or the Two Sisters.
Is my microphone working?
Yeah, it is
Yep.
indeed.
Okay.
I'm all for the iguana. Let's do it.
That's iguana
Alright.
frog to you.
Right, so Reese and Pandora, your team members are not only letting this barbaric-looking bastard on board, but they're letting his dirty creature on. Do either of you have an objection?
Pandora would essentially make the Witcher sound. And pretty much look to the barbaric dude and go, the minute it shits in this place, it's dinner. End of story.
See
Why don't we
Craig's
just-
eyes kind of go wide at that. You can't tell, but you think there's probably a grin behind that mask, too.
Why don't we just let the iguana frog chill on top of the land ship? Because I assume it's cold-blooded.
Yeah, it would be.
It shits anywhere within a 14-kilometer meter of my being, and it is dinner.
Didn't you guys say something about having slaves to deal with that? I don't really see what the problem is.
Dinner. End of story.
Right,
And Pandora walks away.
could be worse. Pandora could be threatening to rub Craig's nose in it.
I'm going
That
to
goes
introduce
for a
myself.
battle, right? So she's wearing all that like power armor and shit.
They're not up to power armor just yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Craig, I'm going to introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is Jacques Canto, and you should know that she's just like that.
If she asks you to
Jesus,
open a pudding
Craig, look
cup, just
to
go
you,
with it.
like, I'm
Just open
Craig.
the pudding cup. It's easier
That's
for
good to
everyone.
know.
Right, Reese, do you have any dramas with it, or?
No.
Right. So once if the iguana's on board and the doors are up, the leadership starts moving again. Martellus slaps the new figure on the back, despite the amount of spikes on the armor. Again, Martellus is a bit of a bear. John Rhys Davies is my shorthand for him. He says, "Yes, I stumbled across this man some time back, and he's actually proven very reliable. I think he'll be a valuable member of your cadre. No, don't be shy. He's quite personable once you get past everything. Sorry, lad, but it's true.
Crag laughs at that. It's like, yeah, I'm not as mean as I look, I think.
We're going to the Underhive. The meaner, the better. This entire situation is a win-win, honestly.
And as a heads up for you, Matt, because it seems to be some confusion before, the sisters, they're still acolytes. They're well before anything, which also means they also have the chance of becoming a bit weird because they've been introduced to this sort of world well before they earned their full sister status.
Oh, by the
Understood.
way, for anyone who spent fate points last session, those fate points now go back up to the max
Yeah,
because they
you've got your
reset
fate
every
points back.
session.
Which is something I wish 5e had, because that's what my other campaign is in. And it's like every now and again, you want those Hail Mary chances.
Yeah, fate points are a
they-
pretty good system.
They stop you being a complete slave to the dice. Right. So you've anyone wanting to do anything while you're on the way to Shiny Hive?
Power Lines, my character will introduce himself to Crag. And are you a local of the area who knows the terrain around the hive? Because we're trying to figure out a good spot to hide our landship here.
I don't know, Bard, am I?
Yeah, I'd say so. You're more about knowing the land, not so much about guiding a massive bloody ship, though. Because I just noticed you've got operate, but you haven't got navigate. But you also have survival, so you know your way around the area. But yeah, piloting a land ship might be a bit difficult.
So Crag nods and says, yeah, I know the area pretty good, but I don't know about hiding something this big.
That's what she said.
This is a problem, because I feel like the second we leave to the Underhive, we're going to come back to find our ship hijacked again.
Might be able to hide an airship, though.
Well, I assume we're taking the airship to the Underhive. The airship, by the way, I've named Goose's Revenge.
Yeah, I saw that. So of course it's fucking Top Gun related.
You got all them explosives, right? Just rig this thing up to explode if someone tries to take it.
Power Lines will look at the heretic and
probably
ask if that's possible.
I could probably do that, yeah. She looks up from welding and then she goes back right to it.
Martellus, who had offered previously to watch over the place, make sure the saves don't revolt or anything when you go through there, yeah, he starts to sweat a little bit. At the idea that he might be sitting in a freaking explosive trap now.
It'll just help motivate Martellus. By the way, Craig, did Martellus tell you why he brought you on board?
Not exactly, do you know?
Yeah. Welcome to the team. So basically, we're going in search of a magic widget that the Inquisition has required. I don't know what the magic widget does. I keep forgetting what it's called, but we think it's in the hive right now.
Honestly, that's in character.
Who do we think the Sons of Dawn, is that their name?
The Forgotten Sons.
The Forgotten Sons.
They're an inbred bandit clan. They're not going to be too creative with their names.
Okay. Yeah, we've got the Forgotten Sons are our lead right now to recover the magic widget. So our plan is to go into the hive and recover it.
The word you're looking for is
Craig just kind of
STC.
shrugs. Like, I don't much care who's in the way, but I'm assuming there's something in this for me in return.
Well, we have
Well,
the
I
iguana
assume
buddy.
when we get the STC, we're going to get some pretty good payday. Well, let me put it this way. We started this whole mission without a land ship, and now we have a land ship. So with us, it's only upward mobility for you.
Craig just kind of chuckles at that. Say, that's a valid point. All right, I guess we're doing this.
Anything anyone wants to do on the way to the hive, or anything else you want to address? Or
How many hours is this trip on the way to the hive?
I can't remember what I said last time, but I'm going to say it's going to be about 27 hours.
Okay, so more than enough time to get that the stuff welded to the airship and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyone want any
Yeah,
other
that was only gonna
projects?
take 3 hours.
Any other projects for the heretic I need to take care of? Weld a post
feel
for
like
the
there
iguana
is
creature
something.
to be a prow of the ship.
What if we
Besides
bolted
getting dressed?
autocannons to the steed?
That's where I
pretty
thought
cool.
you were going. Because we could put an autocannon or maybe a mortar tube on it. I don't know why you would
We
turn it
have
into
5 autocannons left.
You have managed to turn 40k into Dino Riders. I'm actually impressed.
Crag, how good of a
Crag.
shot are you?
Do you like autocannons?
Craig loves autocannons.
Alright, I say 2 autocannons to the steed.
Agreed.
I am cool with that.
So I'm guessing you're making like a harness or something. You're not going to actively try to graft them into its flesh or something like that.
What does the tech use skill say?
I'd
What
say
if we have a
carry on.
mortar as well? Someone, do you have like a second person seat on that saddle? And they can operate a mortar?
This thing is big enough to carry 2 people. I'm sure we can rig something up.
Do you want a mortar on it?
Can
Autocannons and a mortar.
Let's do it.
Iguana tag.
I feel like by
Could
the
we
time
also
we
have-
get to the Underhive, we're just gonna like end up with a giant armored cabin on top of the iguana frog.
could we also have our dear and talented captain rig up some sort of sling so we could sling load the iguana underneath the airship?
That is a very good
We don't know if it could be useful,
Pretty
but it might
hilarious.
be.
Actually, let's back up. Does the airship have a sling load system?
Not at this. Oh, it's got what's it called? Like a like the mountings for a crane. Like you see, you can hook up crates and other shit. But it's you're gonna have to jury rig something. Which yeah. Before we get that far, with its weapon mounted harness, I think Vera, give me 3 tech checks. Also, why isn't there a Dino Riders RPG? I'd play the shit out of that.
All right, I passed 2 out of 3. I got a 5, a 70, and an 87. I needed below 80.
Which one did you fail? First, second, or third?
Third.
Third. All right. Vera manages to get the harness fitted pretty easily. She manages to get how many autocannons were you trying for?
2.
2. She manages to get them both on. The mortar, though, she seems to have a problem with the heat generated from it. So that might need a bit more tinkering around when she gets a bit more time. But you've weaponized a fucking critter that I was fully expecting to be released back into the wild.
And
You're not
is the
Steve
setup so we're
Irwin.
able to like get it attached to the bottom of the aircraft?
Well, that's where Vera's going to have to do another 2. This time, you have a +10 to your chances because you're going to have to need power lines to help you.
Yeah.
All right.
Does anyone else have tech use to give her another +10?
I passed both of them.
Okay.
Turns out it's not going to be that difficult. Biggest problem, Craig. Give me a survival check.
All right, what am I rolling on? Roll 20 or?
You can do either. I'm happy with the honor system. If you have physical dice, if you don't, roll 20 is fine.
I do not have physical dice on me right now, so roll 20 it is. Hang on.
There's also the dice bot in Discord, but I don't remember the commands for it.
Yes, better let you know because I gave it a stupid name. The dice rolling channel in the Discord is Fred Durst. Because I like the terrible joke.
It's okay, Bard. I like the joke too.
Speaking of, I got the worst dad joke I've heard in a while for you. You shouldn't take offense. The cows will get out. Did that hurt you?
So
It's
that
a
is
good joke, but
definite
didn't hurt.
success by like, I want to say 4 degrees, 5 degrees almost.
All right, you have no problems managing to keep your mount calm with the idea of being mounted onto a freaking being fitted for the sling and being fitted for the weapons.
This
that in
one
mind?
frog is having the time of its life.
It's just happy to be included.
Stay calm, buddy. Just think of all the blood we're going to shed with these things.
But this is saying anything but 40k down. I'm kind of loving it.
Bard, I have a question.
Yes.
We have 7 las guns. How complicated would it be for our heretic to make a multi-las out of that?
Well, it's not quite the same thing as a multi-las because those things are quite a bit heavier than a las gun.
We can figure something out here.
Yeah,
It
but we could
depends.
use those to arm the slaves if we need to.
Well, I was also thinking a mini multi-las would be somewhat handy on the airship as well.
Oh my god, who's gonna operate it?
Me. It'd be a pilot control weapon.
I thought you were shooting your giant gun out of the window.
We'll get to that when we get to that. Look, that's like going to be the highlight, but we need something as backup.
You guys know the picture of that old Russian soldier who's carrying like 60 guns on his back? Yeah, that's power lines.
Hey Matt, how good is your ballistic skill? Because we also have a couple of boxes of grenades.
Ballistic skill, let me check on that. Ballistic skill is 40 even. So not terrible.
I think the grenades are best kept on the airship for now. Although I'll go ahead and give you 2 to stow away on your mount. Just so you
Vera
have
generously built us a grenade sling last time. I don't know if anyone was paying attention to that though.
Oh yes, and I meant to look up stats for that. I'll roll with it with the meantime. I'll give it anyone who's using those. They effectively triple the distance that they can throw the grenade.
The drawback
what-
is it's made of a blood-soaked hospital gown, so handle with care.
Wash your hands afterwards.
Well, it's like wet silk. It just makes it stronger.
Keep telling yourself that. All right. Anything else? Did
you
But,
ever
with the-
decide how you want to handle my loading assistant? Ammo barrel?
treat it with the same rules from Only War.
Okay.
I'm happy with that. Speaking of Eriki, Reese's new companion means that if you ever have a weapon jam, you get a free reroll because you've got your servant keeping your equipment in check.
Nice.
No one's rolled bad enough to worry about jams yet, but we'll see.
She's mainly used for pleasure, anyways.
As for the multi-las gun system, give me another tech use. Vera, and let me know what your result is.
With a 10 bonus from me, I'm helping.
Do you even have lasgun as a weapon training?
Don't need it if it's fixed to the airship.
I
Oh
got
no,
48.
I know, but as far as helping Vera out.
I have tech use. I can figure something out.
So what was the roll again? Sorry,
48.
48. I'm guessing that's several degrees below what you need.
Yeah, I believe I needed an 8 or lower.
Vera figures out the trigger mechanism on these guns, and probably could bolt together several of them and treat it with the same trigger. But it's going to take more time than what you've got now.
All right, we'll come back to this. We know it can be
Also,
done.
also want to point out as well that this is a planet that is well traveled by the Cult Mechanicus. I think you don't want to make it too obvious that you're going off target with your tech designs. Yeah, they kind of treat that as a bad thing.
Look, I'm pretty sure when they see our badass iguana frog setup, they're just going to be in love with it.
Again, we've turned this into Dino Riders, and I keep thinking, why isn't there already an RPG for Dino Riders?
They'll
I'd
just
play
be
that.
mad they didn't think of it first.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, they kind of have. Rashad's got something of theirs, which sounds stupid, but no, apparently it's canon. Anyway, that's something for another time. Anything else? Any of you wanting to do? Apart from just rest up and heal any wounds and all that sort of shit.
My Paralyze has been helping the heretic, so I'll call that for him.
I'm just gonna go take an old man nap.
Tuckered
Apparently,
out.
the heretic's totally cool with just straight welding for like 27 hours.
I suspect give her enough raw fish and she'll keep going forever.
well.
Yeah, Vera is somewhat Gollum-ish, if you're wondering.
Yeah, basically, if Gollum was a woman and enjoyed welding.
Well, Craig's going to spend all his time being giddy excited about his new iguana tank.
Alright, if there's nothing else planned, within the by about hour 25 of travel, like Shiny Hive is right in front of you. It's fucking huge. It reaches all the way up to the stratosphere, like most hives tend to do. So there's a lot more forestry in this area. It's I think I mentioned last time. There's forestry, but there's also a lot of hidden little gullies and cliff faces and all that sort of shit. So it gets a bit more slow going. Anyone wanting to try their hands at figuring out a good spot to where to hide this thing?
I will roll my navigate, I suppose. Who was it that helped me last time? Was it the loud guy?
Yeah, it was Martellus.
Can I get another
Give it a-
bonus from Crag helping me with his local knowledge?
Yeah, you can try it.
In all honesty, you'd be better off using Craig's survival, where you.
Oh yeah, if we can use his
helping
survival,
out.
let's do that. Because my intelligence
Yeah.
is not good.
Okay, am I rolling against any bonuses or negatives?
Well,
Can I help
if it was
with
going to
my-
be navigate, navigate was going to give a negative, but because it's survival, you guys are using no. And with the help of a navigator, you get yourself a +10. Is that under what you needed?
Nah, I needed under a under a 40, so it didn't.
Ah. If you've got some areas where it's not great, it's not perfect, a flyer could probably see it, but it's the best
Can I try
you can
rolling
manage.
my navigate just to give us a second chance on that?
Yep, with a minus 20.
Okay. Let's see. So I need below in. Wait, am I getting a bonus from what's his name helping me? Marcellus?
Yeah, that might tell us. Yeah, make it a minus 10 then.
Okay,
Can
so I
awareness
need
help at all?
Not in this regard. Awareness is more situational awareness.
Nope.
Alright, so you've got semi-reliable hiding holes.
How much fabric do we have? Maybe while we're away, we can have the slaves building like some kind of cover. I don't know.
Speaking of, I made a decision when it came to the remaining resources he had, like the overall stuff. That I'm going to translate that instead of being a base number. All of you, I'm going to give a plus 10 to your influences. So on your character sheets, give yourself an extra 10. Because that effectively translates to you've got something to trade for. Trade with, sorry. Which would be doubly handy for the sisters because they can't become full-blown sisters without a certain amount of willpower and a certain amount of influence.
So it's just straight up plus 10 to influence checks.
Yep. No, straight up plus 10 to influence as a stat.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Because that's how influence is meant to work. Like it's either if you gain status or if you gain resources. Which you've gained resources. So you're wanting. Martellus says he can get the slaves working on something in the meantime, because he's staying behind with his finger on the detonation switch in case they act up. And he says, "I'll
It would
stay."
be nice
stay,
to give him the keys to the Jeep in case he needs to make a quick getaway.
He says, "I'll stay as close to the Vox as possible, so I'll let you know if something goes awry." One thing I better warn you about, if you're not familiar with these hives, is even the Underhive isn't the only place where gang warfare happens quite commonly. Pretty much anywhere underneath where the Spires are. The Spires are the ultra wealthy. So he's basically saying middle class and down. Brutal gang warfare is very common.
Okay, well, if we're ready, one
Are we,
last
locking
thing.
the ship
Actually,
behind us?
Powerline's just gonna grab the autocannon off the Jeep and just stow that on the airship in case we need one to carry around with us.
All right.
You know what? We're taking the mortar and the airship too.
Well, I was just imagining you setting up the mortar at the ramp at the back of it while you're in flight, firing a shot and not realizing that you just blew the tail of the craft off.
Oh look, just keep the angle below the tail and we'll be fine.
Be the 40k equivalent of that scene from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I'm sorry, son. They got us.
So if that's it, I'm ready. Powerlines is ready to get in the VTOL and hook up the iguana frog.
Are we gonna bring the iguana frog into the hive now?
I would assume so.
What
I
are we gonna
think
do
it's-
with him when he's inside?
Ride him. For
Well,
the
he is
Underhive, we
open
want to come
to it.
across as the most badass people possible.
How religious are the people in the hive?
So I get how religious.
Yeah,
Uh,
like how sensitive are they to this kind of heresy?
Well, normal heresy, like the Emperor stuff, they definitely worship the Emperor here, but they're not as pious as some other areas. When it comes to the Omnissiah, though, these people fucking love their vehicles, and they are very much on board with the cult mechanicus. With that said, the average person won't know what's based on a established template and what's tech heresy. So as long as you stay away from tech priests, you should be okay.
Actually, do we have a... Well, that might get us in more trouble. I was thinking we could maybe fabricate purity seals to put on the dinosaur.
That'd be pretty funny.
Just to make it look a little bit more legitimate. What if we painted over the harness and the weapon mounts to make it hide the clear welding job?
Well, I'm imagining like an arbiter stopping you, reading these fake purity seals, and whoever gave you these was a really shit speller. Who spells faith with an S? All right,
Before
so
we head out, are we gonna lock the ship up or do any of the booby trap it or anything like that we were talking about?
there's a bit of excitement in that voice with the idea of booby trapping a ship.
I say booby
I'm
trap
hearing-
it with the loud Marcellus guy in control of the booby trap.
Yeah, because he always has the truck, so we could just tell him to escape and then destroy everything.
We don't know this guy super well. We're just gonna give him the whole ship. Just
Well, apparently, Crag knows him pretty well.
Is he good for it, Craig?
Far as I know.
Yeah, I say he's good for it.
all right.
All right, sisters, you having any particular preparations or anything going in?
Not really.
No worries.
Ready for them to stop screwing around so we can go.
If the sisters start yelling at you all to stop putting on your makeup.
Alright, well, Power
Yeah.
Lines will hop in the cockpit.
Right.
Right, in the cockpit. Everyone all good to go?
All set.
Okay, so Power Lines will instruct them on how to sling load the iguana frog, and we're off. So approaching the hive for landing, the underhive.
Mhm.
Is there proper landing stations for airships? Landing pads?
There are indeed. There's of course the spaceport part of it, but flyers are not an uncommon way to travel on this world. So, big pardon again. Yes, you're able to. I imagine you're calling in and to control and making sure that you're good to land.
Yep.
Right. It's just despite not having any sort of identification. They seem to accept you straight away, as if you'd already sent your identification in. They direct you towards a landing pad, which I assume you gently set
Sketchy.
your. I
Hold
assume
on
you
there.
gently set.
Do you guys
Yep.
think this is a trap? They took that a little bit too well.
Make sure you're ready to shoot.
Alright. Well, there we go. We're going in.
All right. So I imagine you're going to set your new four-legged friend down safely before you land the craft itself.
Yeah, I'll park in front of it so they can't see it for now.
Yeah, you get all sorts of odd looks as you come flying in with a freaking lizard hanging from your ship. Uh, you, after a little bit, you see some of the workers on the docks just shake their heads and just get back to work. And yeah, you're allowed to sit down without any problems whatsoever. You don't see arbiters or anyone coming after you. Just business as usual.
Okay. Cool.
All right, where are we going?
I'm thinking of where we should go to find information on the Blazing Suns,
Ooh,
Forgotten Suns.
Forgotten Sons.
Forgotten
Did we
Suns.
lose someone there?
Did we?
I mean, the biggest market might be a good place to at least start, because if they're
We lost.
I think
Matt.
we lost
criminal
Matt.
gang, oh no.
Hopefully he'll be back soon. So, as you said, we'll catch him up when he was back on.
A market might be a
There we
good
go.
place to stop, because if they're a criminal gang that steals shit for money, they likely try to sell this stuff for money. So even if they don't have a vendor stall up and out, we might be able to overhear something or ask around and find them.
Sorry, I missed the last 30 seconds of what was going on.
We're deciding where to go to find information on the gang.
Gotcha.
Billy had the idea of going to some kind of market to try and stir up information or overhear information. Which seems... that worked for the STC last time, so...
Or a jail. We could ask someone, with authority, brandish our own authority, and tell them who we're looking for.
I think we should try and stay relatively incognito. As much as we can with an armored iguana frog.
Yeah, I assume the sisters are going to cover up again.
Yep.
I say we go in two groups that are close together. One group going to the market to stir up the information, and the other group with the iguana frog tailing behind. Just so one group isn't incriminated by association immediately.
All right. So who's on which team?
What are we asking around for?
Information on where to find the Forgotten Sons who have the STC.
All right.
Well, I'll ride this iguana frog around.
I'm going to ask
I think-
Pandora just to split away from the group and try to find the Lord Militant.
Okay.
I think Jacques is best to go and ask questions.
Yeah, I'll do some asking.
All right. So it sounds like you got the two teams, and the sisters have got their own plans. So right. So who's on team Iguana Frog and who's on team they're not with them honest?
Frog will be on Team Iguana Frog.
Maybe Powerline should go with Jacques, since he's relatively normal looking. And then the heretic can ride on the iguana frog.
All right. sounds good.
She would have the time of her life on that frog.
I think it's my closest living relative here.
All right. Well, we'll start with probably the least dramatic one. Let's go with Jacques and Powerlines. I say potentially least dramatic one.
Can I use my rogue trader lore to seek out some sort of black market or shady looking stall?
You most certainly can. Give me a roll.
I failed terribly. I'm going to use a fate point to reroll. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine. That's what fate points are for.
And I failed again.
That's also what fate points are for.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. You can't really get a good beat on it because even though you're not in the underhive, you're in the middle hive. This place is still sketchy as fuck. This looks like it should be. It's slightly cleaner, but as they would expect from an underhive. But it looks like the sort of place that would be an underhive in most other places. The traders, whatnot, they're scary fucks, and the guards they have, well, let's just say someone else has also had that multi-las gun idea.
Oh, we're in similar company. Billy,
Yeah,
does
great.
Jock have awareness?
Yeah, he's got a little bit of awareness. Can I roll for awareness and see if I perceive anything
Well,
out of
what's
the
your
ordinary?
perception? Because I have that as well.
Yeah, my perception sucks, but I have awareness, so...
Well, I have 40
yeah.
perception, so why don't you give me the bonus and I'll roll for it?
Okay.
So awareness to try and see someone gang-related.
Mm-hmm.
I just barely make it. I got 46, need a 50.
All right, you see one of the stalls. The trader looks like bloody Catherine Zeta-Jones. Actually, no. What was her name? Black woman from Second Conan. Jeez, that's going to annoy me now.
I want to watch Conan now. It's been forever since I've seen it.
I only watched the first one. Don't bother with the sequels.
I do remember the first being the best.
Yeah. Grace Jones. There you go. You see one trader looking like Grace Jones with one fake arm that's looks like it's made more out of scrap than anything. She's talking rather heatedly with a tech priest flanked by Skitari. Skitari are basically the fighting force of the cult Mechanicus. It doesn't look like as if she's angry at them or that they're angry with her, but she's definitely angry about something.
Alright,
Power lines to point that out to Jacques. I think you have better social graces than I do.
Yeah, you want to go over there and eavesdrop a little bit?
Let's go for it.
Alright, so I'm going to try to casually approach them and see if I can hear anything about the topic they're arguing about.
Alright, probably the let's go for it. I mean, perception's an obvious one for that, but how about do you have stealth?
I do. Got plenty of stealth.
Power lines will hang back a bit because he does not have stealth.
Alright, so I'll roll for stealth. And I failed miserably.
We're not rolling good tonight.
No, I am not.
As you try to get closer, one of the Skitari spins in place mechanically, aims its weapon in your general direction, and it says in an incredibly mechanical, digitized voice, it's like, halt, interloper.
I am going to halt, and then I'm going to say, hey, just, relax, I'm just here to buy some of that, and then I'm going to point vaguely behind the vendor and try to use my deceive skills.
Alright, go for it.
And a pass.
After a bit, it moves its weapon away from you. It just lifts up. The weapon's actually attached to a Macandrite on its back, which is like a fifth arm, third arm. Doc Ock kind of stuff. And just moves back into its current position. And the tech priest, which has been, well, you think glaring at you, it's hard to tell with fake eyes, with a face that's more metal than anything. It just speaks again in a digitized pace. Flesh thing will wait its turn. And then it turns back to the store owner, which means he can now eavesdrop.
Excellent.
Well, that worked out.
So you managed to bluff your way out of a failed stealth thing. All right, so that'll be perception. Sorry, awareness. Sorry.
Power
This is
lines
what
will
happens when you
also mosey up behind Jacques, kind of looking like another person waiting in line to buy.
Do you want to give the awareness roll, and I'll help you with the known attribute?
Yeah, I'll take that. Let's see, 43, that's a pass.
Yeah. It's the store owner is actually reporting something to the cop mechanicus. Someone had just tried to pass off what she's claiming to be false pre-imperium tech to her. The more you listen, it sounds like it might be the missing STC. She clearly turned them down and threatened to do horrible things to them, because you don't do that sort of shit with you don't treat holy relics like commodities.
I don't suppose she describes the person.
Yeah, she would, as the tech priest asks for a better description. It's middle-aged man, scars all down his front. He has an open shirt to help show off those scars. And he's the way she basically describes him. Think like that dickhead from James Cameron's Fern Gully 2, otherwise known as Avatar. Yeah, the only good character in that entire film. That's basically who she's describing.
Okay, we're looking for a scarred Ginger. I'm sure that won't be a needle in a haystack.
So you said she's talking with a tech priest?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell Powerlines that I have an idea, and I want to wait until the tech priest leaves to talk to her myself.
Okay. Power lines will kind of make a show of like, oh, this is taking too long, and mosey off to another stall nearby.
Right. Well, while they're all waiting to do their stuff, let's skip to. We'll save Team Iguana Frog to last, I think. We'll skip to the sisters. All right. So you're looking to gain entry with the Lord Millicent. I'm guessing that means you're going to wave around your sister credentials.
Yes.
All right. Your best bet is with the Administratum, just the grand bureaucracy of the Imperium. Imagine you're going to go there, make your introductions, and say, "Oh, we want to see the Lord Millicent."
Yep.
The Administratum official you're talking to, who basically looks like his half his body's been replaced with bits from old 80s typewriters. He looks you both up and down a bit and says, "Well, so I imagine this is a pilgrimage for you two, and it's very 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 noble of you both, but surely a lower official can handle your needs."
I have a delivery for the Lord Militant. It has to be in his hands.
Ah, excellent. Well, if you just leave that with me, I'll make sure it gets passed on through the proper channels.
How about no?
He seems a bit confused by that. He's like, "No, that's not proper." It's like, what do you mean by no?
This delivery goes into his hands only. No one else's.
He seems confused. After a while, he's, hold on a second, I think I need to get my manager. So you've just become a Karen. He detaches himself as best as he can from his rigging. Like, again, his bionics are quite archaic, and shambles off away. In a little while, he comes back with one of a returning character. It's a figure that his lower part of his face has been replaced with a dot matrix printer. All right. Next thing you hear the horrible printer noise that. He tears a strip of the paper off, passes it to you, and it's what we hear you have a package for the Lord Militants. We will need to verify its contents before we grant anything further. I'm sure you understand.
I pull out one of the Inferno pistols and point it at him. Is this enough credentials for you?
Again, more horrible noises. Tears the strip off, passes it to you, and he says, the theatrics are commendable, but they're not really needed here. But yes, so I could see that the markings. Yes, I have heard of these pistols. How did you get a hold of these?
It's none of your concern. Let me see the Lord Militant.
With that, he looks to the first person, the assistant you're talking to, who leans over and hits a button on the dash. With that, the doors are around that room you're in. They all slam down, and a pair of heavy bolters come out, attached to a turret, with a servitor built into them. Because again, they don't use AI.
Oh man, we should do that with the bottom of the airship.
Well, they attach a servitor connected to a pair of heavy bolters.
Yeah, we could have a 360 turret on the bottom like that with autocannons.
Get your hands on the
It
servitor
could
first.
retract like that and then be hidden, so people wouldn't call bullshit on us. It's perfect.
And he's with after that again more horrible noises. He tears it off, passes it over once more. He says, we'll pass on the messaging, but I'm afraid you do not have the authority to make such demands here. He nods again to his assistant, who starts sending off the required messages.
I wad the paper up and throw it back at him and say, "You're a waste of paper. Just tell him his pistols are here."
prints up a bit more, passes it over. And he says, I'm suspecting you're a waste of my time, but we all have our burdens to bear. Yes, you found a sassy administrative official.
You can go ahead and tell him you denied his Inferno pistols. That's fine with me.
After a little bit, like of the first guy sending off the message, while what's a good name for a 40k manager? Logistics magistrate or some bullshit like that. He just gets into a silent staring contest. There you go, perfect. And bit of a staring contest. After a while, the first person pops up and says, transport's being sent now. You're indeed your presence is indeed being requested by the Lord Militant. To which more horrible noises. Another piece of paper passed over. It says, "Ah, excellent. It looks like you're getting a wish, and so am I. I hope this is our business done, madams."
Wish for a better printer, and then I just wait to go.
All right, so there you go. We've got first group waiting for their tick piece to move. This group looking for their transport. Right, skipping to group 3, Team Iguana Frog. What horrible bullshit you two are up to? I just want to put it as well. You've had your most barbaric member team up with your most unhinged member. You've given them an
All right, but as it stands, the orders right now are to stay as low profile as possible. So Craig is just trying to keep the iguana fucking frog as out of the way as possible and mean mugging anybody who decides to look twice.
Yeah, Vera's gonna sit, fingers steepled, hunched in front of the iguana, making long eye contact with it. She goes, "Do you need anything welded?"
I do not understand the flesh, but I will soon. Pig just waves a rolling torch around, hits the trigger, starts the flame. Right. Since Craig is the
Bard.
one paying. Yep.
Can you remove some of the black from the map for me? Because I run out of space.
Oh God, what have you done? Right. That always wears me that sort of.
I need more room for the keep.
There
Thank you.
Yeah, I probably should have changed it back to the squiggles page, but I will. Right, Craig, give me an awareness check.
Awareness check. All right, hang on.
Also, usually when I play with these games, I'm usually with people who are used to it and are of course going to be a bit unhinged. But seeing how well brand new players are doing horrible things like everything from slave labor to torture, murder, all sorts of things, it's like I'm starting to understand the point Jack Chick and the D&D was demon summoning bullshit from the 70s. I'm starting to understand their point now. Jack Chick was the one who drew all those amazingly terrible comics. Where people turning into satanic suicide cultists because of D&D.
All right, so that succeeds by 2 degrees.
Right. One thing you are noticing is you're not alone on the pet front. Granted, yours is bigger than most, but it looks like like lizards, amphibians, all that sort of thing seems to be a symbol of status for many people. Like they usually have them draped around their shoulders or similar.
Do any of them have huge friggin' autocannons strapped to them?
Strangely enough, no, they do not.
All right, so that's a little weird, but I mean, so having this iguana lizard by itself shouldn't be that odd.
Nah. Well, again, you're not being chased on by the arbiters or even just the local authorities being like, "Excuse me, sir, could you move your lizard?"
All right, well, that being the case, I think Craig is going to check with the heretic there and see if she's cool with maybe moving out and seeing if we can hear or see anything that'll lead us to this STC.
Vera shrugs. She's totally fine with that. Sounds good. Bart, how's Vera's new eye doing?
It's still sensitive. You definitely shouldn't pick at it, but it is operational.
So no malfunctions so far?
No malfunctions as of this point. It looks like the gentleman who put it in you knew what he was doing. Now there are of course a few niggles. Like every now and again, you'll have like a bit of static. So not enough to block your view, but enough to fuzzy it. But yeah, by and large, it is a good quality cyber eye, and it's doing well.
All right.
If I remember right, if I remember right, the good quality eye means that you get. I think you can get passed into awareness checks. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Does she also get stuff like the dark sight and whatever?
Yes. Yes. You not only look like Gollum, you see like him too.
Oh, good God. I didn't even planning on that one. It just gets worse and worse. All right, yeah, let's head out. What's your awareness, Craig?
Awareness. Hang on.
Oh, sorry, not awareness. I guess that's based on perception.
My perception is 40 even.
Okay, I'm 45, so I guess I'll roll for those if we do an awareness check whenever we get some places.
Cool. Well, Crag waves you up to hop up on the lizard, and we're gonna get walking off and see what we can see.
Right. Beg pardon, got something in my mouth.
My cop.
Now, I was waiting for someone to say something, and someone who's not even in the group. Right. You amble on ahead. People, of course, part to make way for this giant iguana frog. I'm going to have to come up with a proper term for that, because, again, I was not expecting this. I don't know why. I'm an idiot. I should have realized this was what was going to happen. Yeah, they part way for you. As you're moseying on through some of the streets, you hear an elderly gentleman call out, "Oh, it's a nice ride. Which group are you with?"
The one that's got business that's not yours.
Okay, no need to be like that. I was just wondering who's if I need to be careful if someone's moving in on this territory or not.
Nah, there's no worries there, friend. We're not here to take anyone's territory.
That's good. I only just gave the last rites to my poor missus only just the other day.
Oh, that's unfortunate. She died of natural causes?
Natural enough we're here.
So who killed her?
He just shakes his head as I've never even heard what gang they're from. Some jar-headed motherfuckers from down below the Underhive.
Down below, yeah, well, that's where most of the bandits hang out. So you don't know what they're called or any of the members' names or nothing like that?
Never saw them before. Haven't seen them since.
Interesting. Which direction did they go when they headed under?
He points in a general direction. He says, "Well, there's an old access left that way. How's it called? Cargo platform. It's been in disuse for probably the last 300 years. That's usually where they make their entrance."
Interesting. Is there anything distinctive about this group of waiters in particular? Like, how would I tell them apart from anyone else?
Very short hair, which is very unusual, and they all seem to be armed with auto guns, which is not common in this part of the hive.
Short hair, auto guns, got it. Well, I'll tell you what, I end up heading under that way. I'll see if I can't get some revenge for you.
That'd be appreciated, friend.
All right, short hair, auto guns. Good information. Let's wander on.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, swap back to first group. All right, so the tech priests finally amble on out. Well, tech priest and his Skitari amble on out with bit of renewed vigor. The owner doesn't seem to know what was being offered to her exactly, but they seem to know. Yes, that's the STC that was stolen from them previously. All right, so now the tech priests are on. What are you two doing?
Jock, we might be able to intercept that tech priest and convince him that we're on a legitimate mission and he should stay out of it, so that we don't accidentally run into them. What do you think?
I'm imagining the Blues Brothers now. We're on a mission from God.
Because we've been playing fast and loose, but I don't much fancy having to get into a firefight with Mechanicus officials.
Why don't you go track them down, And
Okay.
you still have the coin, the Inquisition coin, right?
Yeah. Good call.
Okay, you track them down. I'm going to lie my ass off to this vendor and try to get a different source of information.
Okay, and we'll meet back here in a few.
Sounds good.
Okay. You want Billy or me to go first?
We'll go you first.
Okay. Am I able to am I able to just follow them out of the market, or do I have to go find them?
They're easy enough to follow. I mean, a entourage of red robes and clanking. They're not going to blend in.
Okay. Power lines will approach from behind and go to get their attention.
As you clear your throat, the Skitari spin around once more, lower their weapons in your direction. The tech priest himself, well, itself, it's hard to tell. Again, mostly metal at this point. Turns around a bit slower than them, as not quite as interesting in combat as they are. And he walks through his own protection, straight up to you. Yes, civilian. I noticed. Don't think I didn't notice you back in that storefront. What are you after?
Power lines will have the inquisitorial coin hidden in his hand, and then when the tech priest approaches, he'll like discreetly show it to him, where in the way the other people around them can't see, and then power lines will motion off to like a nearby nook or alley or something for them to talk privately.
He pauses as he sees the symbol, and he looks you up and down a little bit more, and he nods, and he ends up he gestures to his secretary, who go to the nearest store, push the owners out, and set up a perimeter around any of the entrances. So we can talk in there.
Powerlands will nod and follow him in.
Mm-hmm.
And also pocket the coin so it's not visible anymore.
Yeah. All right. Once you're both past the Skitari barrier, big pardon, he turns back to you and says, "All right, so you're after it too. I see."
I think we are serving the same people, and we just got a good lead thanks to your good work. So thank you for putting forth the effort, servant of the Omnissiah.
We're not of the Inquisition, where the kissing of asses is superfluous. But your message is understood. We can compare notes. What have you got to share?
Give me a second. Let's see. Well, we from the outside desert. I'm sure you heard of the groups that were sent out.
Indeed so.
We were one of those groups, and we found information that led us back here. That the SDC is in fact located here.
As we have just pertained ourselves. We'll be sending word to start a sweep of the Underhive until it is found. It is imperative it does not leave our grasp a second time.
Indeed, but because of the nature of the people who have possession of it right now, I think if you start a full sweep in your official capacity, it just make them scurry it out before you can lock down all the exits. So perhaps you could give my group time to go in and investigate first, before any alarms are sounded.
You hear some whirring behind his eyes as the lenses narrow a bit. The closest he's got to narrowing his eyes.
Let me put it this way. Worst case, we locate it for you. So you kind of have nothing to lose here.
24 hours.
Fair enough.
Right, I assume our business is concluded?
Could you tell me the location of where your office would be?
He says, of course. Does Paralines have a data slate or similar?
Yeah.
He holds his hand out for that.
Oh, power lines will hand it over.
With a bit of a pokey and a bit of bleepy bloop, he ends up putting effective landmarks on where the different Cult Mechanicus chapels are.
Okay.
There's
And just for
quite a
reference,
number.
that data slate is just a standard Aeronautica data slate that doesn't have anything particular on it besides his last deployment information.
Fair enough. Well, he uploads a general map of the hive as well. Bear in mind, the map is quite considerably out of date, so
But
I wouldn't trust it, especially with the underhive.
Where do you think the best approach to the underhive would be, if I can ask?
No. He does
Or
he
that's
does he even
Paraline's
hesitate?
asking him, not me asking you.
Yeah. He doesn't even hesitate while he's still got your data set, uploading the map and all that. Then he marks them down, and he points out there. The plebeian way would be to use the old cargo lifts. Maintenance tunnels we tend to find much easier to come in and out of. Now, granted, a lot of the underhivers know this too, so be prepared and lead with your strongest hard hitters first.
Noted. Thank you very much.
You can take us even better with the STC. Again, 24 hours.
We will do our best.
With that, he passes back the data slate and he marches off. The Secretary follow along with him. The bewildered and confused stories come back in like, the fuck? What was that?
Jedi business. Don't mind us. And Powerlines will just make his way back to the market, and we go back to Billy.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Jacques.
All right, I'm going to approach the vendor, and I'm going to kind of approach polite but businesslike, and I'm going to say that I am a plainclothes detective. In fact, you could even say that I am very inquisitive. I work closely with the tech priests you were speaking to before. However, in official capacity, you could say it's much more clandestine. They were the ones who brought me to you, and in fact, that's the reason they didn't shoot me when I approached closely to listen to you talk. They pulled their weapons, but they didn't fire, and that type of mercy, I think we can both agree, is unusual. So now I want you to tell me everything that you told them, and even tell me the things that you may have forgotten and the things that you held back.
Give me a deceive. You get a plus 10 bonus because he actually had a few little good details in there. Stuff that would give someone pause.
I passed.
You passed?
Yep.
All right. She narrows her eyes for a little bit, and she nods and says, "Some crazy dickheads. They're trying to pass off holy relics, like as if I was just some basic peddler. I'm a follower of the Omnissiah, sir. I don't parlay with heretics like that."
Good instincts. What can you tell me about the people who tried to sell it to you?
She describes pretty much what Craig had figured out elsewhere. Not that you've heard anything from him yet. That they were very short hair, armed with auto guns, which is unusual, and they smelled of dieselium.
Dieselium?
Fuel.
Yeah.
Does my character know what dieselium is?
It's just like gas.
Yeah.
Diesel
Okay.
fuel.
It's totally not diesel though.
Yeah. Again, it's 40K. It's 40K. It's you can't call a spade. No, it's a standard issue entrenching apparatus or some bullshit like that.
Okay. So, how did they introduce themselves when they approached you?
Well, they seem to forget that we don't exactly trade with those who first try a raid on us before. But I decided no hard feelings to start off with. I figured, well, see what they had. Then when they told me they had something that belongs in the hands of the Omnissiah, I told them with no uncertain terms to get the fuck out before I started blasting.
Did you get a name or an organization?
Not an organization. Just thought of that meme. So anyway, I started blasting.
Boring conversation anyway.
And give me a second. Look through my notes here. Because it's not the name of the big guy. It's the person who introduced himself as Atticus.
Atticus, and he was the one with the scars on his chest?
He was indeed.
Have you ever seen Atticus before? You said they were raiding you, or are you talking about some of the trouble outside of the hive?
She shakes her head and says, no, never seen them here before. I would remember someone with the haircut of a child. Apparently long hair is the done thing here.
He's calling these gangs
So
a basic bitch.
Yeah.
So this guy approached you. Maybe because of your religion? You're telling me out of everyone in this market, he approached you to sell illegal, heretical goods, and you don't know who he is or who he's with.
She ponders a little bit whether or not she should say anything. Then she hits a button on a cogitator, aka computer. One of the panels behind her with basic auto pistols on it. It moves up, and yeah, you see ecclesiarchy relics. It's like she just says, "I do have a reputation for dealing in contraband. Just even I have my limits."
I see. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about Atticus. So you can just forget that, just like you'll forget me when this conversation is over. So when he left, where did Atticus and his little child boys go?
She points towards. Sure enough, she points towards the what's it called, the cargo lifts. And she said he and his little bitch babies went down the bitch baby way.
How many men were with Atticus?
6.
All right, so Atticus and his 6 guys, they went down that cargo lift. How long ago was that?
That would have been about 3 hours ago.
3 hours. Okay. Anything else you can think of that would help me stamp out this heresy? Anything relevant?
She ponders a little bit. She says, "The relic, they do not actually bring it up with them. They had an image of it on their data slate. So it's safe to say that they have it hidden. So I'd keep at least one alive, one that looks important."
What did that image look like?
She describes it as what looks like a data slate, but it was projecting its image up like a hologram.
Yeah. So what was the projected image?
She says it looked like it was supposed to be a vehicle of some sort.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I think the rest of your goods are too expensive for me. I can trust that you will not be sharing this conversation with anyone, to include the tech priests, because part of my undercover nature, it's essential that no one knows my identity. And goodbye.
She just she harps at the bit about goods being too expensive, and as you say goodbye, she says, "Well, best of luck at the battle of the baby bitches."
All right, I'm gonna go try to find power lines.
Power lines will find Jock, and he will give him a high five because we did good work.
All right.
Yeah.
While those two start playing volleyball to the theme of playing with the boys, we'll skip back to the sisters.
Real quick, before we jump
Right.
away, once they meet up in the market, I would like, or Power Lines would like to make an awareness check with Jock's help to see if we've picked up a tail as we're leaving the market.
Yes. Roll away.
I'm going to use a fate point to re-roll that. I'm going to use another fate point to re-roll that. I'm just going to live with my failure.
So,
I'm
you're-
going to try to roll as well.
yeah, go for it.
All right, you get a
So-
10 bonus for me helping.
Okay. I fail. I'm going to use a second fate point.
The dice suck tonight.
Yeah, you can't play roll 20 this time, can you?
Okay, so that's confusing. So my perception is 35. I had plus 10 with David's help, and I rolled a 45.
So that's
That's-
a success.
That's
If it's on the mark,
scraping
that means
tough.
it's a success.
Cool.
All right. You do notice, amongst all the other things, like there's, because this is fairly technologically advanced as far as 40k goes, there are like servitors, servitors, shit, mine's got blank, the skull things.
Servo
You know
skulls.
them, Dave. Servo skulls, that's it. There's a number of them flitting around doing their basic duties, which is usually either basic messaging service or basic maintenance. Like these are incredibly basic machines, even by today's standards. There does seem to be one that is not very good at hiding the fact that its lenses are pointed in your direction, and each time you go around the corner, it seems to scuttle ahead quickly to get a good view of you. It is
Okay.
keeping its distance, though.
How about we address that after the next round of people?
All right, back to the sisters. All right, it doesn't take long for the transport to turn up. Doors open. What look like that's. I'll have to put up an image of what Imperial Stormtrooper looks like. I was going to type Imperial Stormtrooper. It's like, no, I'll get something very different if I type that in. All right. As the blast doors reopen, like with the alert cancelled, and the heavy bolter servitor rises back into the reef. A squad of these, about 8 of them, come in, not pointing their weapons at anything directly, but definitely with them at the ready. As a very pompous looking noble house servant comes in and says, "Ladies, your presence has been requested." And the way it's with a pack of stormtroopers, it's very clear it's not a request.
I just give a
Hey,
nod.
Billy,
go with them.
check your DMs real quick.
Right, so Reese's going along with it.
Yep.
And Pandora.
Pandora follows.
Right. The servant leads you on while the stormtroopers follow on behind you. They lead you to a flying transport. They take you up well beyond the internal spires, straight up into the upper hive itself, which looks so much nicer. Like there's actual like the gardens and shit up here. It's very much where the upper classes are. They lead you all the way towards what looks to be the governor's palace. As the ship lands, the servant leads you back out again, down a series of corridors, up 3 different lifts, Eventually, you get to a you get to a room completely sealed off. There's just you two, the stormtroopers, and the servant. Now, before we go any further, I'm sure you understand. We need to take all your weapons off you. I'm sure you understand.
I understand, but I do wish to keep the Inferno pistols so I can hand them over personally. They're unloaded, so I should be fine.
He waves a stormtrooper to come over and just double check that the Inferno pistols are indeed empty. Do you try to interfere?
Nope.
All right. Once he confirms, he puts them back in the box, nods. He says, "That is acceptable, but leave all your other weapons here, both of you."
Pandora's not happy about this, but she does it.
All right. And Reese's got no problems with that.
Nope.
All right. With that in mind, the doors are open up again. You two are led in, and as you're heading towards a massive looking man, and what looks like it looks like power armor, but it's not Space Marine power armor. Yeah, if both of you feel hands grab at the hair at the back of your heads, and a heavy boot kicking at your knees, driving you to the ground. That being the stormtroopers.
I just say, ow, what the fuck?
The figure in the power armor, which you're guessing is the Lord Militant, he steps closer to both of you. He says, "Where did you find these?"
They were on a ship we confiscated that was taken over by pirates.
He snatches them out of your hands, looks them over, makes sure they're all in one piece. He says, "Did either of you interfere with these?"
I took them from one of our comrades so I could deliver them to you.
You know, he watches you for a bit. Then he takes one of the pistols and he passes it to his servant. He says, check to make sure the package is still inside." To which he scuttles on off and out of the room. He looks back at you both. So tell me what your plan was here.
My plan was to deliver the guns to the rightful owner and ask for some information. That's all I wanted.
He looks at Pandora for a bit and says, "And you?"
I'm the keeper.
That seems to get a little smirk from him. He looks back at Reese and says, "Well, you've delivered them to their rightful owner. What were you exactly doing out there that you would come across a ship such as this?"
Now this is the part that I can never remember, but we're looking for something.
He looks back to Pandora, waiting for an answer.
We were looking for something important and we happened across the ship, so...
That, yeah.
She pinches the bridge of her nose. We're looking for a SCP SDC CPQX thing.
Yeah, that thing.
He looks irritated when he hears about that. He says, I told them I would be handling this." He looks actively angry at this.
Pandora holds up her hands like, "Don't shoot the messenger."
I know it's not you that it's not you that I'm angry with. In fact, you could actually be of benefit here. Are you aware of which one holds your leash?
Our leash has been transferred at least a dozen times, it feels like, in the span of us leaving where we were first.
he sighs and just says, if it's that big prick doing this again, I swear I'm going to kick him off this planet myself.
It probably was.
Yep. The servant comes back in at this point, and he bows to the Lord Millicent and says, my lord, the package is intact. He turns back to you both and says, excellent. You get to, for fulfilling your duties to me, despite being unbidden, and despite being used as the pawn for people who really should not be on my planet, I will let you have the remaining Inferno pistol. It was just a cover for the other.
Well,
Now,
so special about the other one.
Say again? I didn't quite catch that.
So what was so special about the other one?
That's not your concern. You may be part of the ecclesiarchy, but I am still the Lord Militant. Am I understood?
Fair enough.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. As I thought. Now, you were requesting information. I'm feeling in a generous mood, so let me hear what you've got. What are your questions?
I'm just wondering where you may be able to know where we could find that SCP-7X something.
If I knew that, I wouldn't be having these headaches. But between the Cult Mechanicus doing their own shit, and the Inquisition constantly poking their nose where it doesn't belong, and it's like, do you know how many Inquisitors are usually in any system at once? 0. Although maybe when something important is happening, 1. I have 5 on this planet at once, each of them playing their own little games, each of them forgetting that they may have the ultimate authority, but this is still a planet of the Imperium, and it will be better served if they understood proper protocols. He's basically ranting at the both of you. He's letting his ranting out at other
That's
people
good.
and you both.
Get him to rant more.
Yeah.
This is good information.
At least you know how many Inquisitors are on planet. At least the ones which have introduced themselves to the Lord Middleton. And as members of the ecclesiarchy, you both would know that that many Inquisitors in even in the same sector is highly unusual, except for this place. Like when he mentions Inquisitors, he's not talking about their acolytes, their stooges. He's talking about the big boys,
Yeah,
The
that's what
space-
I figured.
those who are second only to Space Daddy himself.
Space Daddy.
So, what information could you impart upon your Lord Militant when it comes to this SCT?
Pandora?
Pandora's going to make note to strangle Reese later.
Their emergency phrase is banana hammock. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to explain that one to Matt.
She can't say it if she can't breathe.
All right, is Pandora? Sorry. Yeah, continue.
Pretty much that there's a lot of people looking for this thingy.
All right, so
And
you know
not a lot of them are good.
So you know about as much as I do. Do you have any idea how depressing that is?
Quite.
A little bit. If you saw what I'm traveling with.
He looks back to Reese, then looks back to Pandora and says, starting to like you. Don't ruin this first impression.
I'm hoping
Narrator,
others don't
they
ruin
ruined it.
for us.
You've probably guessed already that, the Lord Militant is not a patient man. He's not a pleasant man either. But he is a man with authority, and he's swinging that dick around. It sounds like he is the one that's been leaning on the governor.
But we are here and we are going to find it. We heard that the SCP-D24 is here.
I wish this was a more high tech setting so I could pull a red dwarf on you. SC2D24. No officer with false teeth should attempt oral sex in zero gravity. I don't know what relevance that has to this situation. Right. He looks at you both and says, "All right. I know you've been employed already. Consider yourself employed again. Whatever your current masters are, I understand they do outrank me. I am not going to play. I'm not going to play stupid on that. We have enough idiocy on my planet. So, with that in mind, continue working for your current masters, but I want you to report to me as well. This STC needs to be found as quickly as possible, before the cult mechanicus tears this place apart looking for it. It's probably worthless anyway, knowing them. They don't care. It's a relic, they're going to look for it. One day they will learn that there is only one true master of this Imperium, and it is not their imposter.
Space Steady.
Anything else you two are requesting before I get you both kicked back out of my palace? He's saying that like as if it's not the governor's palace.
Just for the kicking to be a little bit more gentler. Old knees and all that.
He looks to Reese, and you?
Looks like this thing's pretty important, so maybe you can spare a little something, like maybe a flying mech suit.
That sounds like Tau tech to me. You better not be requesting what I think you are. I'm going to do you a favor and just forget that request was even put forward. For now, do your duties. If you do well, you will be rewarded. I could do with some agents of my own. He turns back to his servant. Get them out of here. I have what I need. With that, he bows to the Lord Millicent and says, "Of course, Your Excellency." And he gestures to the stormtroopers who they get off of your legs and pulling you back up to your feet again. And one of them, you're guessing the sergeant, just gestures back towards where you came in.
I get my weapons and leave.
Mm-hmm. No, you're rearmed.
Her knees.
Well, yeah, knees are replaceable. They actually are in this city. It's just why I'm kind of jealous.
Well,
They're
I
not
wouldn't say
hurting.
that, because if you're replacing a knee, you're basically replacing the entire leg.
My legs are fucked anyway. I could do with replacing them. So I'm replacing my back too. Fuck it.
I mean, you can't really replace a knee as much as you can replace an entire leg.
Well, you can replace the lower leg and up to the knee, but yeah, like you can't just have the knee by itself be replaced and have flesh above and below. Anyway, you're led back. I've just given Vera a request, haven't I? They lead you back to your transport, and if you're not going to do anything untoward, you're sent back to where you came from, back to the administratum building, where thankfully the stormtroopers don't kick you out. They just open the door and just stare at you until you leave.
Well, I just leave.
Pandora salutes and leaves. And then smacks Reese upside the head.
What idea?
A warning. A heads up. A hey, we're gonna go do something stupid would be nice.
I had a delivery to make. That wasn't stupid.
As the bum 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 while music plays, we switch over to our third group again. Team Iguana Frog.
Real quick before we get started, As far as awareness versus perception, like, so can I do like kind of a look around without awareness? Because I don't have that.
You can indeed, although because you don't have the awareness skill, you get a -20 to your perception.
Well, in that case, Craig should be doing any awareness checks.
We can both roll awareness and see what we can see. Yeah, let's see if we can see any of these short-haired autogun dudes by chance. If not, I have a secondary plan.
I just looked back at Roll20 and just saw Dave's masterpiece.
Which one? Oh,
No wizards allowed. No, to be fair, it fits this team. No psychers. All right, yeah, sorry. All right, do your perceptions.
Okay, well, if there's anything to see and the roll isn't modified, then I see it.
All right, and anything from Vera?
If there is anything to see, Vera does not see it.
Too busy singing a song about wingnuts to herself or something like that. I'll take it.
Apparently so.
Yeah. All right, Craig, you do notice that as you get closer, you do see what looks like recent signs of a fight. So that's not too uncommon here by the look of it, but they tend to clean up fairly well. And yeah, you even see mounted on spikes, but like just this massive door frames leading on the way towards the cargo lifts. Like I'm talking like the door frame itself is like 4 stories tall. But you look up and you notice hanging from them, from ropes, are corpses that fit exactly the description you've been given.
Oh, would you look at that? Wonder if that's by their own dudes or whether there's a gang war going on.
It's hard to say. Should we? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's not Underhive. There's always a gang war.
Yeah.
Valid.
Well, it's technically in the middle hive, but like I was saying before, the middle hive's not much better than the underhive.
Lower
So yeah,
level
it's very much the same thing. It's gang wars are incredibly common here, which is interesting considering that there is an Arbiter's presence, but the Arbiters don't care about basic laws. They care more about imperial law.
So, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, should we check their pockets to see if there's anything we can use, or any clues as to who they were in conflict with?
They're about 4 stories up in the air, so
we should not.
they're hanging from the door frame. Looks like intended as a warning.
All right. Well, barring that, Craig is going to stand up as high as he can on his lizard tank, and he's going to shout to everyone around. It's like, so show of hands, who here has had a family member killed or wounded by one of those douchebags hanging there?
Let me look at the sheet. What could I use there? Strangely enough, you do have a point to deceive. That'd be because you're an you've got an outcast background, isn't it? All right, give me a. Actually, I want to be deceived. Are you trying to be big and scary? Or are you trying to be open to chatting?
I'm just trying to be open to chat. I'm trying to ask people who's been transgressed by these people.
Give me an inquiry test, which you don't have, so yeah. Fellowship -20.
Righty.
So if you get under a 14 or under, you should be good.
I played XCOM. Those are good odds.
You never trust the odds in XCOM. 97% chance to hit, like fuck.
All right, that failed, so now I'm going to try intimidation.
Everyone does. Everyone just goes about their business. They'd rather pretend you weren't there.
Okay,
He should
so
get
now
a
I'm
bonus to intimidation from his iguana frog.
Well, it's going to go further than that. I'm going to go ahead and rack one of the autocannons and load around. Let me repeat my question. Who knows something about these guys?
Intimidate +20. the combination of autocannon plus iguana lizard.
Yep, that succeeds.
Alrighty. With that, they all point towards, strange enough, for the old man who talked to you before. And he just looks back at the crowd, pointing at him. He's like, oh, "Fuck's sake, guys! Didn't want to talk about it." Yeah, he hobbles up and says, "Yes, yes. All right. What do you want?"
You've already given me quite a bit of information about these guys. Really, what I'm looking for is numbers. How many of them were there?
There was about. Well, I only saw a little bit of it, but I'm guessing anywhere between 20 to 30. They did a lot of damage before they were beaten back by our local boys.
Right then. Armor, equipment other than the auto guns?
Flak armor, auto guns, and few of them were armed with flamers.
Why didn't you tell us any of this before?
You didn't ask. And yes, he does have a bit of a smart ass look, because real answer is much simpler. He didn't want to dwell too much on it since he lost a loved one in this attack.
And so your wife was the only one to die?
He says no, but she was the only one who had someone surviving.
See.
The others, yeah, if they died, so did their loved ones.
Did it look like they were after anything in particular?
They were searching the place. They were after something in particular, but I was too busy with something a bit more important to me to notice.
Clearly. So Craig points to the ones that are hanging from the doorway. What happened to them?
Those are the ones unlucky enough not to make it out of here alive. Just want to make it clear, if their friends come back, they'll be swinging there too.
And you've seen this group once and only once?
Only once, yes.
How long ago was this?
This was about a day and a half ago.
Let's see.
That is, at one point, someone pipes up with, I saw people looking like them just a couple of hours ago.
Really? Where?
Points back towards the direction where you saw the Blues Brothers go.
All right. Well, Craig is going to go ahead and nod to... What's the heretic's name? Is Vera, you said?
Yeah.
Well, Craig is going to turn and nod to Vera, fucking beckon in that direction. Let's go see if we can find these dudes.
Agreed. Sounds like a plan. Let's head over in that direction.
Let's steer the lizard that way.
Just want to point out, you guys have effectively made a better Monster Hunter movie than the one we're actually going to get. If you're going to have Monster Hunter with guns, at least have some fun with it.
I'm not trying to blast those things off right now. Draw attention.
What are you you. So say again, you're firing the autocannons, did you say?
Eventually.
Eventually.
Not right now.
I was about to say, hang on. Alright, so I'm assuming this would be a good point for everyone to reconvene?
Yep,
Jock and Power Lines want to try and lose their tail, the server skull.
Yes. Alright, what skills would assist with that?
Jock has stealth.
Stealth might be a good one too, because it's less about just outrunning it, more about like trying to blend in with the crowd, or take a turn that it wouldn't be expecting.
Yeah. So
Stuff it
before
in.
we lose him, Powerlines is gonna pull out his Imperial Infantryman's Handbook and all right, recite with me, Jacques. We're gonna do the Prayer of Invisibility.
Are you actually going to read it out? Because if so, that's going
yeah.
to be glorious.
All right, here we go, Jacques.
Go for it. Give us your performance.
I am the darkness that surrounds me. Come on, Jacques, loud and proud.
If you're talking, you're not transmitting.
He's not transmitting.
You guys can't hear me?
Nope. Well, hearing you
Heard you
through
through
Cecilia,
Cease's mic.
Mike.
All right.
I am the darkness that surrounds me.
I am the air that surrounds me.
I am the air that surrounds me.
I am the land that hides me.
I am the land that hides me.
I wait to strike.
I wait to strike
From the darkness,
from the darkness.
I wait to kill.
I wait to kill
From out of thin air,
from out of thin air.
I am invisible,
I am invisible,
and I am silent death.
and I am silent death.
And with that, Powerline snaps his infantryman's handbook closed and pockets it.
After us, can you still get close enough to your computer with a massive fucking erection you probably have right now?
He's going to overturn a couple of market stalls on their way out.
No, I mean you, the player. Are you still able to get close to the computer with the erection you've got right now?
So, good enough to keep playing. We're ready to start.
Well, sounds like your headset's got a good length cord on it, because I'm still hearing you. Okay. All right. So, all right. You don't have stealth as a trained skill, do you, Dave?
I have a high agility.
All right. All
I
right.
do
Since you're
have acrobatics and athletics to make some clever maneuvers, though.
all right, well, that could be an idea. You could try to outmaneuver it, as it were. So it loses your trail that way. Well, I'm guessing Jacques.
So,
gonna try
Jacques,
to-
how about we kind of fly casually as we split up, and then we each make our own way back to where we left the iguana frog?
Sounds good.
All right, you want to make your stealth rolls first to get out of here?
All right, rolling. Oh, I passed the shit out of that.
All right. Jacques just disappears into the crowd, and soon even Paladin has no fucking clue where he's gone. All right,
We're
time
off
for
to a good
Paladin to
start.
see. Right, it's up to Paladin's there to see if he can hold up his end of the bargain.
Okay, Powerlines is gonna look at a watch he doesn't have and exclaim, "Oh my God, I'm late!" and then runs off, making some acrobats to get through the market stalls and go around some corners. So, acrobats or athletics?
I'm ready to give you the choice. If you're just running for it, like barging past people and all that sort of shit, athletics. If you're wanting to get a little Prince of Persia and see if you can go a route that it wouldn't be expecting, like going over market stalls and shit, I'll accept acrobatics.
I'll go acrobatics because that's higher. So I'm going Prince of Persia on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna wait. Is when it's all zeros, is that 100 or 1?
That's 100 eights.
I'm gonna fate point that.
You just biffed it, man.
Oh yeah,
Just pulled the stall down on top of you.
yeah. I'm gonna
Even
fate
though
point the
it's-
hell out of that.
Well, even though he's not a psychic, he somehow managed to open a gateway to hell with how bad his athletics were.
I'm gonna use my last fate point to reroll. Okay, 27. I'm in business.
All right.
Do you want the degrees
What?
of success on that?
Yeah, would actually be beneficial.
I needed below 60 and I got 27, so that's 4.
Alright. So give me a second, just need to... I'll do this off Roll20 so you guys don't see what I get. Because the coast has the best one. And you think they tend to do good these days. Alright. Both of you give me awareness.
Okie dokie. I pass.
Alright. You can, as you reconvene, that service skull is nowhere to be seen.
High five.
Looks like
High five.
You see, Jacques, this is why you carry around the Infantryman's Handbook. 'Cause it is full of good stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw you being the dark. It was great.
I attribute this success to our Emperor. Praise.
Do we have the micro bead radios? I can't remember if we have those or not.
I'll let you all have microbeads. Because otherwise it's a bit too silly otherwise.
Okay, I'm gonna radio to everyone and tell them that the dream team came up with some leads, and we're ready to meet back up if they are.
Alright, so is everyone good with meeting up?
Yeah, hearing that, Craig's just going to take a quick look around and make sure he doesn't see any of those gangers. And if he doesn't, we'll turn this iguana around and head back.
I want you to use that in just your day-to-day life. Just that phrase right there. Alright, so I think I cut someone off there.
No, just saying we're ready.
Alright, no. You'll meet up again. I guess you're sharing all the information with each other? Or is anyone holding anything back? Or adding extra?
Power line shares. Sharing is caring.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna share.
have a out-of-date map, and the tech priest identified some entry points for us. And we also have
Craig will
24
make
hours
one
before the
description of
Mechanica
the-
storms the Underhive.
I've got some info on Atticus and the SDC he was selling.
Craig will relay the description of the gangers that were causing trouble and the entry point that they used to get to the Underhive.
And the sisters?
Just gives a thumbs up.
Craig will also let them know, like the general equipment that he found out that they were using and the numbers that we can expect if we go down there.
What are the numbers? Are we expecting 7 or more than that?
There were 20 to 30 up here for the raid, so that or more.
In flak armor with auto guns and some flamers.
We probably need to keep Atticus alive, though.
And you said they have the STC hidden, so it might not even be in the Underhive. It might actually be outside somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's why we need Atticus alive. Does everyone agree?
I do
Especially
agree.
our
Yeah.
esteemed sisters.
I mean, just as long as we get the SCP-D346P.
I like to imagine Pandora is purposely calling it shit like that. And I have some distaste for the cult Mechanicus.
A little bit.
So, how do we want to go about getting into the Underhive? Do we want to take the big entrances, or want to try and take a stealthier approach?
We need to find an entrance that this iguana frog will fit into.
An accommodation entrance.
We could split our forces again. Have like a main element go with the iguana monster. And then a couple people on the side just to maybe catch them unaware.
That works. Who should stick with the iguana? And I assume Jock should be with the detachment because he has stealth.
I am the dark.
Vera, being from a research station, is more used to smaller spaces, navigating that kind of tunnel type thing. So she'll want to go away from the iguana monster towards the more stealthy entrance.
Crag will clearly take the obvious route and to be the attention attractor.
Which way do you sisters want to go?
What were the options?
Up front or stealthy?
We don't believe in stealth.
Okay, so you're with the iguana frog.
You mean dinner?
Well, it's still useful, so.
Vera eyes Reese. Yeah, the short one could fit in a tunnel.
So, question about the armaments on this thing: are those autocannons twin-linked, or are they on their own individual turrets?
Well, that'll be a question for the one who put it together, Vera. Twin linked means when he fires them, they both fire. Individual means you can only fire one at a time.
Since they were, I had imagined them being twin links, so I'm going to stick with that. Though I think there could be advantages to the other way. That's how I had originally pictured them.
Cool. So just like one big double autocannon turret.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Question: does Crag have control of the autocannons, or are they from the rear seat?
Good question. Again.
Sorry,
well,
you're asking.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, that would be the rear seat because I think we had envisioned a driver and a gunner type situation.
Good to know. So I need someone on the back of this thing shooting those.
Do either of you sisters want to ride on the iguana frog?
Pandora would just point to Reese.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. In that case, I think I will go with the sneaky team, so they have some more heavy fire for the flanking maneuver stuff. Because you guys will have all of the Emperor's firepower with those twin-linked autocannons.
Gonna be fun.
Yeah, you can be stealthy as long as you resist the urge to scream red brown style.
I will keep repeating the invisible prayer. Keeps me occupied.
Until Banana Hammock gets yelled.
Look, when you call the code Banana Hammock, then it's just all bets are off. Oh, by the way, Crag, if you have an emergency Crag on the Vox, the code is Banana Hammock. If things are of uncertain nature, the code is... What was the other one?
Budgie Smuggler.
No, that was the other guy's code. Tickled Pickle was the other one, for uncertain circumstances.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to write this down.
The complex shit.
Powerlines, do you want to go back to the ship and get your grenades?
Sure. We have... Let me check my sheet. 13 frags and 5 crack, which are... Crack are like anti-vehicle, kind of. Do you guys have the grenade sling on the Dino? Or is that mounted to the...
I think we left it on the ship.
Well, I can grab that if it isn't mounted. If it's just like a handheld sling.
Please do.
Okay. So Power Lions will head back to the aircraft and grab the boxes of grenades in the sling. And he'll take a frack and 2 frags in hand, Jock 2 frags.
Thank you.
And so with the iguana frog, you guys get 4 cracks and 9 frags.
Good to know. Make a note of that.
Right. Well, I'll point this out to this Krog, wouldn't I? One advantage of your favorite pet is, yes, they can indeed cling to walls.
Oh, it really is like Star Wars.
Sorry, say that again. I missed it.
Stop saying that, you bastard. Your iguana frog can cling to walls like a gecko.
Oh, sweet.
Does that include ceilings? Or is he too fat for that?
Ceilings might be a bit much just because of the weight, especially with the harness with the guns.
Well, I think if he's on the ceiling, then the passengers would be falling out.
No,
I think
that's
the
it.
seatbelts.
Need to make a note to install those after this.
Yeah,
Mm.
twin-linked auto cannons from the ceiling would be pretty dope.
Think like an Australian. You need your harnesses to make sure you don't fall off the planet.